Gary Reesner, Barbara Walters, bring you the news.
Good evening. Jimmy Carter said today that he hopes to have the unemployment rate down around 4.5% 4 years from now. But until then, the nation may have to live with unemployment of anything from 5 to 7%. We'll have a full report. Barbara?
We'll also report tonight on the beginning of a congressional investigation into the assassinations of President Kennedy and Martin Luther King. We'll see the Arab League peacekeepers finally entering downtown Beirut to enforce the Lebanese ceasefire. And David Snell will tell us about this man who may go from moonshiner to movie star because he happens to live in the mountains of Georgia. Harry?
All through the presidential campaign, Gerald Ford kept saying that inflation was our toughest economic enemy, with unemployment second. Jimmy Carter insisted that first we have to do something about unemployment, implying that it was first on the list. Today, Carter met with reporters in Plains, Georgia, and seemed to do an about-face. Ann Compton reports.
The easygoing atmosphere of Plains, Georgia extended through a round of handshakes, but then the news conference took on the formality of Washington, D.C., as President-elect Carter made it clear his administration will take its full 4 years to bring down unemployment and balance the budget. That means an unemployment rate of 5 to 7% for several more years.
I would guess that would be a likely prospect, that by the end of the first 4 years, we would hope to have a balanced budget. We would anticipate a 5 to 6% annual growth rate in our economy, which is compatible with what it was under Johnson and Kennedy before the Vietnam War started. That way, our goal would be to get unemployment down to the 4 to 4.5% level.
The Carter presidency, he said, would be described as one of fiscal conservatism.
I believe in balanced budgets, and before my term is over, I intend for the federal budget to be balanced. I don't believe in wasting money. I believe in careful, long-range planning. I believe in giving cabinet members maximum authority. I don't intend to run the individual departments of government out of the White House.
Mr. Carter has an elaborate scheme to let the public know just who he is interviewing for the 75 top jobs in government, running the risk, he admits, of political embarrassment for the losers. But he says he's sure those wounds will heal just as they did for the men who lost out being his vice president.
And I think the same thing would apply in this instance. If I should consider 8 or 10 people for Secretary of Defense or Secretary of State, and I can only obviously choose one for each of those positions, there would be deputy and assistant secretaryships available if they would prefer them, or perhaps if someone is highly qualified, they might be willing to serve as ambassador to Great Britain or to Russia.
Only one appointment was filled today, and it was no surprise. Jody Powell will move to Washington to be White House News Secretary.
I wanted to get this announcement done early because I felt that if we delayed it further, it might take away from the importance of the appointment of Secretary of State or Secretary of Defense.
The talent search will continue this week and next when the president-elect heads to Washington to meet face-to-face with the Ford administration cabinet members he will be replacing. Ann Compton, ABC News, Plains.
A postscript on Jody Powell. Like many of the people closest to Jimmy Carter, Powell is young, he's 33, and grew up near Plains. His wife is a school teacher and intends to teach when the family moves to Washington. He has a daughter, Emily, age 9, the same age as Amy Carter, and he still politely apologizes if he doesn't get to return your phone call on time. However, people have been known to change once they enter those White House gates.
President Ford arrived back in Washington tonight after 8 days of sun and golf in Palm Springs, California. The weather that greeted him in the Capitol was overcast and cold. White House spokesmen say the president spent some of the time over the weekend thinking about where he and his family will live after the White House days. Mr. and Mrs. Ford looked at a few houses in Palm Springs yesterday afternoon for about an hour and a half. Palm Springs seems high on the list of potential post-presidential homes, but apparently no firm decision has been made.
I'm Joe Namath. Stevie's eating a burger I cooked in 60 seconds with the Little Mac by Hamilton Beach. Little Mac not only cooks burgers fast, but also makes cheese or ham sandwiches, apple turnovers, anything you can put between 2 slices of bread. Little Mac flips its grid, round for burgers, square for sandwiches. The Little Mac's